This video is brought to you by the Intel Core i7-4770K unlocked processor. If you're a speed freak, add an Intel 3500 series SSD to your Haswell system for a truly enthusiast class experience. Welcome to my unboxing and overview of the CT15T-B1. This is from Vizio, or as I call it, the mobile juggernaut. What I like about this particular notebook already, I've had it out of the box. I've been using this. We filmed a video about it, so there's already been some stuff going on. But what I like about it is the fact that it is still reasonably thin and light while delivering a quad-core Core i7 processor. So this is a 3rd gen quad-core and staying super, super thin. So it's not an Ultrabook by any stretch of the imagination because that is a special Intel spec, but it's a thin and light, much more powerful than an Ultrabook notebook. So right here we get a quick start guide. Okay, cleaning cloth. Oh, I didn't even know that was in there. There you go, cleaning cloth as well. You also get a power brick, which is a reasonable size power brick. This particular notebook uses onboard HD 4000 graphics, so you don't need any kind of like massive brick. Here it is next to an HTC One for size comparison. That size comparison thing I like to do. It also has a cool little color indicator power plug that goes into the side of the notebook, so this lights up different colors depending on the status. Green for fully charged, for example, and last but not least, an AC power cord that goes into the back of the adapter. That is all that is included. So let's get physical with this bad boy. The first thing you notice taking it out of the box is it is extremely slim and it is extremely aluminum. The aluminum unibody chassis gives it a ton of rigidity and like a nice feel to it that you just don't get from a plastic notebook. I'm going to whip out my HTC One here so you guys can see a quick size comparison. So it's about double the thickness of a modern smartphone, and it really draws some more comparisons with the HTC One as well because it's all about build quality. HTC One versus Galaxy S4. The big thing everyone's talking about is aluminum versus plastic. Plastic is going to be lighter weight, although this thing isn't super heavy. It's 4.84 pounds, but what the aluminum does give it is it gives it like a feel to it that you just don't get with aluminum. The bottom itself is a soft touch plastic because you can't have an entire sealed aluminum case. You have to put components in it somehow. And other than that, the bottom is extremely clean with just 4 non-slip pads as well as a small reset button and a little bit of information about Vizio down there. On the side of the notebook, we find power in, USB 3 and a headphone microphone combo jack. On the front of the notebook, we find a whole lot of not much of anything other than a power indicator LED right there, which you can see is indicating it's in sleep right now. And then on the right-hand side, we find HDMI out as well as another USB 3 port. On the back, we find just a solid, clean aluminum backing, and then it is time to open this bad boy up. Inside, we find a large multi-touch trackpad right there. You can also see that instant on, more on that in a moment, as well as a wide format keyboard. So it uses slightly wider keys than I'm accustomed to. I personally, because I have small hands, would have preferred a smaller keyboard and a number pad, but not everyone feels the same way as me about all of that. And of course, you've got their SRS stereo speaker right up here at the top. Ventilation is craftily hidden by that clean backing we saw before, and hopefully I can get you guys an angle at that, but there's a copper heatsink. Hopefully I can show you this copper heatsink in there and ventilation holes all in the back, so it gives it a very, very clean external appearance. You can't even see the cooling. And of course, the pièce de la résistance of this particular notebook is the 15.6-inch, 10-point multi-touch IPS screen. So that means you get the viewing angle benefits of IPS as well as the color richness benefits of IPS, color vibrancy benefits of IPS, and pretty much I just love IPS and I can't get enough of it. And if you guys watch my videos a fair bit, you'll probably already know that. Raw spec-wise, you find a lot of the stuff that you normally would. So it's got 8 gigs of RAM, a 256 gig SSD, so that's solid state storage, as well as an Intel Core i7 3635QM. So that goes all the way from 2.4 gigahertz all the way up to 3.4 gigahertz in turbo, which makes it about, when doing something intensive like video editing, about 50% faster than my existing notebook, which has an i7, what's it called, 740QM. So that's a previous generation, it's slower clocked, so this is pretty much better in every possible way. It comes with Windows 8, which of course is great for the touchscreen experience. I personally find Windows 8 makes sense on tablets, makes sense on notebooks, but isn't that great for me on the desktop experience yet because I find it's a little bit far away away from me. But on a notebook, I even find myself on non-touchscreen notebooks from time to time touching the screen now because I'm starting to get used to it. It feels like, okay, so I use an Aspire S7 normally as my daily driver, and it bothers me that it doesn't have an Ethernet port. This one bothers me a lot less because it does have wireless 802.11 AC, which in my personal experience is way faster than wireless N because it relies on the 5 gigahertz band as well as some other cool technologies that make it just, well, faster than 1000 Ethernet, which is a huge bonus. And in spite of previous wireless technology claims, that wasn't happening. It has a 90 watt hour battery, which doesn't look user replaceable, but you know, there's some screws down here. So who knows, maybe you could finagle something if you really needed to. And I think that's pretty much it. So basically, what does it come down to with this one? It's easy to open. It has a very good aesthetic. It's an eye turner already. I've had quite a few people ask me about it, whether they've seen it behind the scenes in videos or whether they've seen me actually carrying the thing around. It has an IPS display, which is a huge deal. Every notebook should have solid build quality and an IPS display. The speakers are loud enough, no particular bass to speak of, but they were definitely usable. It passes my flex test, so it has excellent rigidity to the chassis because of that aluminum unibody, particularly when you go and put the screen on it like that. I mean, I always heave on stuff, so you guys will see flex. I see people say that all the time in the comments. Oh, Linus said it didn't flex, but it did. Yeah, by comparison, it didn't flex. Everything will flex if you heave on it hard enough. And no junkware. So they have US-based tech support, and I didn't find anything on this notebook that I particularly needed to uninstall. So that was actually quite refreshing. If there was something that I'd want to add to it, I would definitely download a start menu for Windows 8 if you're not familiar with Windows 8, or even if you are familiar with Windows 8, grab a start menu for Windows 8. A backlit keyboard would be nice, and a revision 2 and an SD card reader would have been nice, but overall, it looks like a very, very solid value over at Vizio.com. So thank you for checking out this unboxing and first look at the, oh, I don't even stand a chance of remembering that model number anymore. The CT15T-B1. Is it a replacement for an Ultrabook? I use an Ultrabook. No. But is it a perfect substitute for someone who can't make do with the dual core maximum that you find in an Ultrabook these days, but still needs something that's reasonably thin and light and portable? I say yes. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos. And like the video, leave a comment under the video and let me know, what do you think? Would you rather have a quad-core, slim, workstation-style PC, or would you rather have a super thin and light Ultrabook and compromise on the overall oomph of it?